Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Diz, a show that gives you everything you need to know to help make your Disney vacation as magical as can be in just about 20 minutes. I'm your host, Jeff Goviello. With me each week is Disney Master Sandy from Easy Diz by Instant Impressions Travel Services. Sandy, how you doing this week?
In my farewell to Muppets 3D, I am using my Kermit the Frog voice for you all today. Actually, my Kermit voice is courtesy of 3 great weeks traveling. I've been with Adventures by Disney in the Amazon and in the Galapagos. Shout out to all my new friends that I made on those trips. And a wonderful week in Walt Disney World with the Parsippany Hills High School Music Department. So, I'll excuse my voice as we talk about Easter this week, and next week we'll be back on adventures.
So we're gonna do our best here. You missed us last week. We've had a lot of stuff going on. You were traveling legitimately all over the globe, and now back at home and trying some chamomile tea, but to the best of your ability, this is where we've landed tonight. So we are going to talk about Easter, which is upcoming and coming fast. It's a holiday that I know a lot of people do celebrate in different parts of the world, especially here in America. A lot of people travel this week, and so Walt Disney World is a great option for folks at Easter time.
It is, but it's a little unique as holidays in Walt Disney World go, because they're very tight-lipped with information until we get really close to that date.
Right. Like specialty stuff that you're saying that they would be offering on that time.
Correct. We're going to bring you some highlights of things that are going to be in the resorts. Of course, there's always food for any holiday. We've got a foodie guide. But we'll talk a little more at the end what you can expect to find very last minute.
So the way that I think we're going to break it down tonight is we'll go, just a couple of different of the parks, what's there, and then some at the resorts, and then maybe we'll kick it over to the West Coast to see whatever they've got going there. Does that sound like that's something that makes some sense to you to do it that way?
I think that's a perfect plan.
All right, so let's begin. As I said, Easter celebrated all around the world, so let's begin on our version of all around the world at Walt Disney World with Epcot.
And you probably wonder why Epcot is celebrating Easter. They're busy right now with Flower and Garden and all kinds of scavenger hunts and things, but they are the home of the Easter egg extravaganza. That's another one of those hunts where you pay $9.99. It's great for kids to look for hidden eggs throughout the park. They're big character eggs that can be found in gardens and up on window ledges. You can either complete the hunt, finding all 12 eggs, and come back for your prize, or essentially your $9.99 buys you your prize. You can pick it up right away. And I'll be honest, it's one of the most useful and adorable prizes I've seen in a while. I think they're upping their game. I know I said that for Flower and Garden, that the prize was little watering cans. This is a custom-made for Disney little wooden Easter box.
Huh.
It comes with 4 paints. You paint your own Easter box, and there are 6 different characters.
Well, that's kind of cool. I like that idea. And so obviously I'm guessing it's all around World. Is it mostly around World Showcase, or is it just kind of all over?
It is mostly around World Showcase. And again, you're going to find that mixed in. Sometimes you're going to have to look. You're going to know it's for the egg extravaganza based on the shape. But you're going to find things in a garden and be like, hey, it's not on my card. That's because it's on the Flower and Garden card. So keep your eye out for the eggs. And again, if you don't want to pay the $9.99, you won't get the prize, but you can still easily make a hunt of finding all 12 eggs.
Oh, that's fun. Okay. Well, let's segue over to the Magic Kingdom then. What do they have for us over there?
They bring us Mr. and Mrs. Easter Bunny. They'll be leading the parade for the week coming up to Easter, and available in the garden Typically, you find them next to guest services right inside the park on your left. Again, just those couple of days leading up to Easter for photos.
And that's like an actual meet and greet, is what you're saying.
That's a meet and greet with Mr. and Mrs. Bunny at the same time, except obviously parade time, they can't be in two places at once.
That would be difficult. Okay. Why don't we segue over to some of our resorts? What do they have there? I know, obviously, we've talked a lot about at certain holidays. We know at Christmas time in some of these resorts, some of the decorations are absolutely crazy. But what do we have in the resorts for Easter?
And again, the Grand Floridian leads, we'll call it the craziness, by erecting a house in the lobby where they sell treats, everything from hot cross buns to Easter marshmallow pops, bunnies in dirt cups, carrot blondie pops, chocolate bunnies, all in that great little house. And that did open about 2 weeks ago. It'll be open all the way through Easter Monday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily at the Grand Floridian.
I do want
They,
to. I did want to before you go forward that because you mentioned that it opened a couple weeks ago. You had mentioned something about the Magic Kingdom about that the week before. I neglected to ask you about Epcot. Do you have a timeline as to when that extravaganza is at Epcot as well?
it's an interesting thing. It is going on now. It typically will run till the week after Easter,
Got it.
but if they have some prizes left over, they're not typically very quick in removing the eggs.
Got it. I just want to make sure it wasn't something that people were expecting just on Easter Sunday. Like this is something that
They will happily take your $9.99 beginning now.
All right. Sorry about that. Let's go back. You were finishing up at the Grand.
So similar to how for the winter holiday season, we see the deluxe resorts participate in the gingerbread house making. For Easter, they create extravagant eggs, mostly made out of chocolate. So the Grand Floridian has 5 or 6 great eggs on display. They'll be there all the way through Easter Sunday. You can also visit the Contemporary for eggs. They start today and go through Easter Sunday, as well as Beach Club and Yacht Club. So not as widespread as all of the gingerbread houses, but 4 great resorts, about 20 eggs in total, all mostly different Disney themes or holiday themes. Again, sometimes I wonder they've kind of got an upper hand on Imagineering with the creativity behind these monster size eggs.
But let's just be clear for folks. Display. You're not taking one of these eggs home. It's not the type of thing that like Wonka's factory that you're walking out.
It is not take home a 2 to 3 foot egg. It is display only. But again, intricate design. Definitely check them out. Take some pictures. Maybe if you're there this week or next, be inspired to have a family contest when you get home.
And just for folks that were trying to catch up there, we're talking Grand Floridian, Contemporary, and Beach and Yacht Club, correct?
That is correct.
All right. So let's jump over to the West Coast, over to Disneyland. What can we find over there to celebrate Easter?
We've talked a lot in the past about what they do and don't do, and I'm excited to see across both Disneyland Park. Again, those of you that think of it as Magic Kingdom, it is not. It is Disneyland and California Adventure. They have similar on the extravaganza, 12 different eggs hidden, but that same really cool wooden box prize, same $9.99 price.
Got it. So similar experience over there on the West Coast. That's cool.
Correct. They are also at this point, the only known Easter brunch right now is going to be at the Grand Californian Storytellers Cafe, April 20th, Sunday only. We do typically see some last minute Easter brunches pop up on the East Coast, and you will find them by a sign in those particular resort lobbies.
That's interesting too, because it is the type of thing where I would think that they would maybe leverage that. But to your point, it's not something that's like advertised in advance all that
It's
much.
not, and I think part of it is it's really for those looking for that traditional Easter menu. It's a one day only. It's not about creating the hype behind this experience. It's similar to what we see at Thanksgiving. It's kind
Right.
of how do we give the American public what they're looking for while they're at Disney, not how do we give them an over the top Disney experience to celebrate. And I think that's why we see that difference.
So you said, what is the American public looking for? Well, the American public, when visiting Walt Disney World, is constantly, and I can't emphasize this enough, constantly looking for popcorn buckets. So what do we have in Easter in the way of the fun themed popcorn bucket?
I will put myself partly in that American public group and partly not. I probably have about 25 different popcorn buckets, but I will say, with the exception of course, Baby Simba that we couldn't resist.
Right.
I don't get many popcorn buckets anymore because I don't know about all of you. I love these unique shaped popcorn buckets when I see them and when I'm in the park. And then I get home and I say, they don't stack in my pile of buckets, and that cabinet is full.
Everybody's got a pile of buckets and nothing ever stacks. That's just kind of how it works, right?
But on both coasts this year, they finally have made the connection. I don't know where they've been all these years. It's Thumper as a
Nice.
popcorn bucket.
Yeah, it is about time. I mean, that does sound like that was a lost opportunity for a while there.
He's had many stuffed animals over the years, but this time he gets a popcorn bucket holding on to an egg. Super cute little spring kind of ribbon. I will say, as somebody who actually does enjoy the popcorn in the popcorn buckets,
Right.
all of these shapes also jip me on a full serving of popcorn.
Yeah, that's true, but you just have to deal with it because the packaging is just so darn adorable.
It is cute.
All right, so before we say goodbye, let's talk a little bit about food. Obviously we've broken down the festivals and things like that, but what is it about Easter time? Is there anything culinary wise that you want to mention to folks?
One thing that Disney chefs are great at is culinary experiences. So lots of things out there already. Again, they're all kind of with that hard cutoff of Easter Sunday. So if you're arriving that weekend and your spring break is Easter Monday and the rest of that week, don't hold off on your purchases because you're not going to find it later in the week. Beach and Yacht Club is so an easy walk right out of Epcot if you want it. An absolutely adorable Easter egg whoopie pie, a cinnamon sponge
Oof,
cake with a maple buttercream filling, a little bit of pastel icing on it, and some sprinkles.
my goodness.
Again, grab that and stop in the lobby and see their Easter eggs that they've created. They've got some great scenes going on over there, everything from Mickey and Minnie to Moana.
Oh, nice.
Boardwalk Deli is also going to feature that whoopie pie. If you're over checking out the eggs at the Contemporary, they've gone with that basic carrot theme, a carrot cupcake with a cream cheese frosting.
Hmm.
It's a chocolate cookie crumb um, cupcake, and it's got a nice big frosted carrot sticking out of it.
That's
So
cool.
definitely no sugar, keeping the kids really calm.
Yeah, obviously.
Make sure you stop on the fourth floor, see their egg display, including Mr. Potato Head as a special egg.
Interesting. Okay.
Over at the Grand Floridian, again, we said you're going to want to see their eggs and their shop. Head into Gasparillo's for the Bunny Burrow Dirt Cup. Chocolate cake, chocolate buttercream, cookie pieces, lots of icing on top, that green grass, and a big purple Easter flower.
Easter does just lend itself to these types of things, so it's not surprising.
I'm like icing
like crazy, yeah.
More icing. Over at the Riviera, well, they don't have big eggs on display. They do have 3 Easter egg shaped macaroons, including one with a Riviera logo chocolate coin on it. So lots of fun. And then the majority of the resorts that offer food courts, again, they have finally acknowledged Thumper. I actually saw this carrot cake while I was there this past weekend. It's 2 layers of carrot cake with a cream cheese buttercream in the middle, green grass icing, carrot frosting, and a white chocolate printed Thumper on top.
Ah, that's cute.
Disney Springs is also always a great spot for some high-end themed desserts. Head over to the patisserie for a Thumper cake pop. That's a mixed berry mousse with a green shell and a Thumper with a flower on it. That is new this year. Everglaze has 5 different specialty donuts, including an adorable yellow chick. I mean, what's not to like about a chick donut?
Yeah.
And of course, the ganachery, a milk chocolate bunny pinata. I mean, come on.
Yikes.
Smack the shell, end up with jelly beans and a marshmallow treat.
Very cool.
Also new this year, a peanut butter marshmallow cake pop. Peanut butter layered with vanilla marshmallow covering, dipped in milk chocolate and caramel crispy pearls.
Wow.
Sounds like
you saved that one for me. Win. I mean, my goodness, that's screaming my name.
If you're headed out to the West Coast, Disneyland Resort Goofy's Kitchen celebrates springtime through May 9th. So really unique. We've got Goofy and Clarabelle in springtime outfits for the holidays. And then over at Pixar Place, the great Maple Modern Eatery, which I talked about when I ate there. So much bacon, so many great things.
Yeah.
They've got a special chocolate Easter egg pancake with a little peep on top, as well as truffle deviled eggs with Parmesan lace. Talk about a win over there.
Yeah.
And then throughout the park, they've got specialty, a bunny butt Rice Krispie treat, and a little chick cake pop. So no shortage on things for your sweet tooth, whichever side of the country you're at, wherever you may be. There may not be a load of jelly beans, but there are certainly plenty of great treats for the holiday.
Well, and that's kind of what Easter is known for. If we're not going to get the typical Easter brunch, it sounds like we're sure going to find our Easter basket filled with all sorts of sugar and icing and all sorts of stuff over, depending upon where we are on either side of the country. So, listen, I think Easter is a great time to visit. I think that's also in Florida, especially, the weather is nice. And my family will be there around that time this year. So if you happen to bump into us, make sure that you say hello. Sandy, I appreciate you coming off of all that travel and powering through tonight to give some folks an idea of what they can make of their Easter vacation in Walt Disney World. Feel better this week, and so we can catch up with you next week.
Thanks so much. Happy holidays to all.
And that's a wrap this week on Let's Talk Diz. If anyone you know could benefit from this or any show, please share, have them like, and subscribe. And don't forget to reach out to the folks at Easy Diz by Instant Impressions Travel Services for any Disney destination planning. Make it a great week. And as always, keep making memories.